Kind of like it's completely all in. Even Muffin Cutie is kind of steered away from it.
Yeah, it's extremely risky.
And there is the Vlad pickup. We could be seeing a 2v1 swap in the lanes. They've loved to do it so far, as well as Wild Turtle picking up that Shen.
I'm not surprised in the Shen or the Vlad pickup. Yeah. It's very, very it's their style of play. Like they love Shen jungle, and they really, really like Vladimir. Vladimir has been banned before, so they really couldn't be able to see it. And I know Orb wants to run like this thing.
We'll call it out when it happens.
Yeah, we'll call it when it happens. But I'm really, really excited to see if CLG.eu will pick in the way that Orb wants here, or Red Nation wants. I'm sorry.
So Yellow Pete, a few
so we
choices.
Need the AD in the mid here. Mid forced to pick before, and that way Orb can look for the counter pick middle. I'm curious what he'll play. I really want to say, if they're looking to win this game and they're going to go 100% here, Ari would be an excellent champion.
Yeah, it's going to have to
follow
be a big AP.
The dive with Malphite. Varus?
This would be a very cool pickup. I like that. Kind of just push Kog'Maw out of the lane right in the beginning. If you can even get to him, if the swap isn't there.
He's a lane bully, but playing Varus against Nunu Kog is still, that's not ideal. I would say that's...
It isn't, because you got to stand in there to get your blights on, and if you just stand there all day...
Yeah. Oh, you see a Lux lock
Nice!
in.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I'm very surprised at that.
Holy crap.
Froggen did play Lux once at MLG, but I don't think it was a stream game, so no one really was able to see how his Lux play worked out.
I'm pretty stoked.
I'm very excited. Lux is a champion where you have to look to make aggressive plays, have to look for those kills inside the enemy jungle to be able to take advantage of her map pressure. I'm excited to see what a top player like Froggen can do with him.
I'm saying and that's a huge pickup, especially for a team like this where you have so much long-range poke. Lux's shield is one of the strongest in the games, and that's going to completely, if you can set it down, negate Hemo Plague. So this is a really good pickup for them, especially when they shield, kite out of the fight, and reinitiate with everything they have.
So Orbit's really well known for Syndra. I'd really like to see a Syndra pick here from Neontanso. He has Syndra, another option that I can't say until he picks it, but Syndra does really well against skill shot champions like Lux and Orianna.
He's waiting till the last second. He might do it. I don't think they're considering it. I think they're just joking it.
Is he? Oh, he's going for his game plank. Okay, so the IG mid ZZ Tai started a time at game plank middle, a build in a solo queue, and Neontanso really likes that. So he's going for a game plank middle. It might work out, might not. I'm curious to see how this matchup works.
And they still have the AoE from Vlad, so they'll be all right on that. Obviously, High's ulti as well. It's a pretty good composition. It's definitely a fight and in-your-face composition where Wild Turtle can sit in the back. He does not have half the protection he does last game, though. So
I can't help but think the gameplay doesn't really fit in this comp. Like, where does gameplay really come in on this comp? Like, does he provide the front line? Not really. Does he provide dive? Not really. They want to look to maybe put pressure on their back line. It's kind of like an all-around pick that doesn't really. It's not really a specific pick to do a specific role. I'm sorry.
Right.
He's just looking to cause global pressure with his ulti, and that's it. I don't know if that's enough for them, though. I'm really, if gameplay does badly, I really worry for Reddit Nation's chances this game.
It's a pull out all the stops, it looks like. They're really just trying to get whatever they can here. It kind of synergizes with ultis and the amount of area effect that they have, but yeah, Gangplank is so situational. You can just walk away from his ulti, and it's kind of completely wasted in a team fight.
Right. I just feel like more CC, or maybe...
Yeah, you get nothing from that. You get a little bit... Well, it's like super now. You get Raise Morale Nunu, so you're going crazy if you really want to.
Right. I feel like that's such an all-in for Kog'Maw, though.
Yeah, it is.
It is. That can dive and look to put pressure on the backline. Lux, Malphite, even Aurelia can look to put a lot of pressure on the AD carry, and an AD carry with no escapes.
No escapes, no real peel besides
Nunu,
and yeah, I guess Shen, but Shen's going to be taunting all the way on the other side of the fight when you have unstoppable force passing you. So
Nunu peel is really, really good, but
yeah,
not only do they CLG.eu has just incredible initiation this game with Varus, Lux, Malphite, and Leona. Probably the most initiation I've ever seen CLG.eu run.
Varus ulti for this combination is just silly. Because you have that whole team wanting to protect Wild Turtle, so they are going to have to disperse. That's one great thing about Varus ulti, is it causes the team to completely just walk away from each other.
Absolutely. I was a little bit questionable on the Varus pick now, but I could see it now to where it could be effective. It might even be overkill. I don't even know if they need that much CC. Off the Lux spine, they can get whatever they want.
It'll definitely be Explode the Wild Turtle comp, and they've put that on 2 champions that can just mob onto him, which is Aurelia and Malphite. So that's good for them. They're really not going to have to deal with what they did last time. They were just Wild Turtle was able to roam free and get so many kills. Like we said, he got the 4 kills within 5 minutes between the bottom lane push and a quick dragon right after that Snoopy just went down in a second in. So we'll have to see if they can get that. Will he again go for the quick Infinity Edge without even getting any Dorans?
It'll all come down to whether or not he gets kills. This is a very strange summoner spell, though.
It's just killing
choice. You have Nunu not picking Flash this game. I'm not sure if he did the same last game.
Yeah, because he was no escape Nunu. He went exhaust and heal, and then you have Yazuki going heal as well. So it's probably going to 2v1 swap.
Right. But 2v1ing without Flash, I feel like the lane ganks might be a little bit powerful. But I guess they kept that in mind because Malphite's a champion where like his lane ganks are very, very subpar. His pre-6 ganks are just really bad. Like he has like a movement speed debuff that's like 13%.
Don't get close.
Yeah, it's like
don't get close.
Not that great.
All right, so we're going to be loading in here, guys. If you're just joining us on the stream, the Lone Star Clash 2, Chronologic Europe, head-to-head with Reddit Nation here due to the participation of their post on Reddit and the community getting behind them. Now we're showing great matches, and they really need to. The community got behind these guys, so they have to give back here. And we have some of the craziest comps. You know, we've only had 2 matches for this tournament this weekend, but really crazy comps just coming out, and this is awesome to see here. A lot of crowd control coming out from Chronologic Europe, and we have just a team of kind of all out in your face. Gangplank wants to be in the fight. Lemon Nation's going to get in there to assist as well, and Vlad is always up in the front. So we'll have to see how they attribute to that. We are into the matchup. We'll see what these teams have for a level 1 Scarra. And like we said, like 0 crowd control, but we predict Reddit Nation to stay in their jungle.
Right, no, I absolutely do. Especially with gameplay, like typically you get your CC from your mid, even maybe your top. They don't have Jax anymore, so their level 1 is horrible. At least CLG.eu has Froggen on Lux. Lux makes your level 1 pretty decent. It's the same as Morgana bind. If you get the bind, you get free autos and you force the flash pretty much, or the kill. But you just see them come in. They haven't even dropped the ward yet.
They're really relying on taunt here if anybody walks out into the open. They're getting kind of antsy. Yeah, as you said, they haven't dropped the ward, so they're kind of putting themselves in positions. That Blood Boil kept on Wild Turtle.
Oh, they're looking to run in and get a ward up. I think they can. Yeah, they're getting a free ward in, and they just run out. They just want the vision to know where the jungler's at. That's it, and to prevent the lane gank or the gank middle by Malphite, which I really don't think is even an issue here. But
I mean, you release a little pressure off of that mid.
Right? No, absolutely. You're able to put more pressure, and it looks like they're gonna go 1v2 top lane. I think they mind game themselves here because Yazuki is staying top. But no. They should have been able to see the fact that Wild Turtle was in the invade, or Nunu was in the invade when they looked to put down the ward. But they're still going to go with it? No. It's smart. Very smart. They have CLG, or the Yellow Pete and Crepo sign the lane normally, and having Aurelia go against Vlad. Aurelia beats Vlad early quite easily, especially with heal.
Up until like about level 7, 9 when he gets that full transfusion. It's such a long cooldown. But then in the late game, you're like, why did they make this champion?
Right. Absolutely.
So we'll see. We did see Nintanso picking up the Wraith, so we'll have a bit of an advantage here, but Lux will be able to keep him at bay. Maybe the matchup for Lux, Scurvy, but that's really just goes to his own lane.
Oh, you see Froggen decided to pick up shield first to lower the harass on the Nintanso, but he messed up. He shielded after the original Q, and Nian just got 2 free Qs on him for about 120 damage. So you force a health pot right there, or he's going
to try to hold it. Well, he got that one just on the mark. But yeah, he looks like he's going to try to hold it and get the level or get the HP from leveling since he is still just 2. He'll get 3 quick. Throwing down a good lane or a push on the lane as well as he just hits that with hail.
I actually think Nunu Kog'Maw is excellent against Leona Varus. I really don't see a point.
A little bit of an invade here. High getting pushed out. Didn't think anything was really going to come of that, but he did force him to flash. But yeah, what about bottom lane?
Oh yeah, it was just that I don't think Leona can really do much till after she hits at least 3, if not 6. So we're just waiting for it. There's the level up. So we might see a more aggressive Leona play coming up, but I don't know. You kind of want to play around your jungler ganking bottom, but like I said, Malphite kind of a weak juggle,
Right.
and we have a pause going on. I wonder what the issue is.
We'll see what they get it in. We do see that it looks like that is Yazuki, or not Yazuki, rather High is down back by his second turret, so he may be just getting something situated as well. But yeah, that bottom lane, we'll have to see what they do. They are pushing quite hard here, knowing that the Malphite jungle isn't the super fastest, but not super slow as well. So they're biding their time down in bottom lane until they really have to push.
It's really smart, because if you spam shove bottom lane, they have a ward at Wraith Camp, they have a ward at Try. Malphite doesn't have an angle to gank bottom, an angle which they don't know about. And he's not a juggler that brings CC early, so as long as you have those two angles covered, all you need is to be able to shove the wave and make Varus miss CS in the tower, put pressure bottom, force the jungler to come hold, and see if you can force some summoners off the gank, and hopefully not die, obviously.
Yeah, with the Malphite, they only got like the release of pressure. They have that lane ward, like you said, the Tri-Bush ward, and they can just go ahead and push this, reset their lane whenever they want. And with the range of Wild Turtle, it really helps. Yellow Pete's only got that on his Q as he charges it up and fires it off. So we'll have to see how this lane goes in their favor. They've grabbed a bit of a gold lead from that early just take of the few creeps in jungle, but it really means nothing at this point in the game. And that middle lane is, like you said, it's kind of just a matchup of skill over skill. If Froggen messes up on that shield, it's going to keep going in favor of Natanso.
The biggest issue I see bottom lane is, look, they're looking to shove. So obviously Leona's going to probably look to go in to relieve pressure. But when he goes in, and if Malphite's close, like, they can just go on Nunu. Nunu has no escapes. So he might die on his way out if Malphite shows up.
So it looks like actually Malphite has pretty much left the entire bottom half of his jungle. Let's go back up and grab. So we'll see what he can do with that. I don't think he'll be heading top lane. Vladimir not the easiest to gank. Obviously, it'll probably just be a farm fest between Wicked and Yazuki for this matchup. And there we go, going in on Wild Turtle. He is forced to use the cleanse. And that's what you said, blowing the summoner spells and relieving pressure on the lane.
Right, absolutely. You see both AD summoner spells gone. This will force Red Nation to play a little bit more defensively. Ooh, maybe you see pressure middle by Niantanso.
He is coming in quite strong. Here comes Yazuki, or hit High from the top side on that, just missing the Zenith Blade, trying to get them off guard. He goes for the flash very hard onto Wild Turtle, rather, with her force backwards. Great job by Lemon Nation, just taking the blights and staying in front of Yellow Pete, controlling where he is taking shots. And there's the initiation onto Yazuki. Said there may not be too many ganks top, but here's the damage done. He's going to think he's safe. This is great setup by the top lane. Snoopy's now going to come in from behind, but the counter gank is ready. They're ready to stop this. Can he force the pool early? He goes for the heal and tries to get to his teammate. High coming in here. The ground slam dodge there, but he could get the shard off onto Yazuki. Keeps himself alive. Blade Surge to take him out, and High now in some trouble as he starts to get hit up. And he will be able to make it out alive. The blue buff stays safe.
On the pressuring middle quite a bit. Forces Lux out of lane. I'm actually kind of surprised that happened, but Gameplank's a very, very strong single target harass.
So with that lane win for him, however, what's it, like we said, we're kind of just confused how it's going to come into late game. Have you seen anything that's really going to come to fruition yet?
Nothing's happened too far. Like, that top lane is really bad, though. As soon as that lane snowballs against Vlad's going to be in horrible, horrible state. So Wicked, I'm curious to see what he'll buy and come back to lane with off this one buy, and if it's big enough, if it's a big enough item, like he gets a Phage or even like 2 Dorans and a Zerker's Greaves, it'll be huge.
Almost going down there. Very nice try from Froggen. Both of these guys just back and forth and trading damage. Those shields just keeping Froggen alive. The parlays about to come out a little bit stronger. We're finally seeing these guys go back. Niantanso was very low in lane. Looks like he goes right for the pickaxe, actually. So he's really going for that damage from the Q parlay.
He's definitely looking to rush to time it. The thing about time it with GP is that if you kill multiple targets with your Q, you're able to get the additional gold for every target you kill. And so you see like Nian go to farm Wraith camps and pick up 4 + 8 golds on just the Wraiths. So it's really, really nice on gameplay. Not an item that's built a lot, though. So Wicked just getting 6, shoving the lane and going back to buy. He probably has around 1,600 gold right now. I'm curious to see what he'll buy off this. With 1,800 gold? Yep. And he's 25 CS ahead of top lane. It looks really bad for Vlad right now.
Yeah, and he went straight for that Wit's End as well to just stop Vlad from doing any damage and keep the harass on. If Wicked can get a red, it's completely over for that top lane, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. Elimination just kind of chilling in the bush right now with Crepo. Neither of these guys can initiate too much since there is such burst from both sides to come out here. I feel like the initiation would be a little bit better right now for Wild Turtle and Elimination, but they don't want anything. They have vision around them. No jungler is really paying attention down bottom, and this is actually Snoopy not helping bottom. He's actually helping middle. Looks like he's going to go around the pings. The wards are very good. Yellow or blue buff rather being called from high. Aurelia returning top, and as you stated before, Scar, they're going to continue to pressure Vlad up top and just hurt that lane.
Oh, and when Gangplank gets this blue, it's going to be really, really hard for Froggen to do a lot until he gets blue as well. It's just a lot of single target harass.
And it looks like they may stay on it, yes. Going in, Snoopy was not on the same page with Wicked, and he was just too many steps behind to get another shard out and stop that. Froggen trying to do some damage from the outside as this lane is going to be quite tough for him. That blue buff helps, but the output of damage for Gangplank is just such little mana for what Lux needs to mitigate all of that and keep yourself in a good position. So a lot of harass there in mid. Snoopy coming back around without giving any assistance. So.
Oh, wow. I didn't even realize, but Froggen stole blue buff from Reddit Nation. And so that puts Froggen in a really good position, and it sets Nian as well as the jungler behind. The jungle die top, and there's action bottom right now. You see both people go in. Wild Turtle get ulti, and Yellow Pete, is he going to die to the passive? Oh, no, he did not.
Probably not. He could have gotten maybe the flash out of Yellow Pete. Thought he could kill Crepo, though, with Elimination there. And a very nice kill down bottom on Wild Turtle. The aggression kind of hasn't gone in their favor fully. They had a good control on the lane, but that one mistake Counterlogic Europe has capitalized on, and they find themselves in the upper hand in this bottom lane now. They're going to get that pushed out so they can get some buys in. And Wicked again onto Yuzuki. Yuzuki very low, 300 and 400 just about health. He could easily get dove here. Wicked, however, doesn't have enough mana. These guys are just single-handedly, everybody's winning their lane, even without Snoopy.
Right. It looks really, really solid. They forced CLG.eu just got Red Nation to pick standard picks, and they just outplayed them very, very solidly. That's really the thing that they're best at. They're best at playing standard. 1v1 lanes, they're excellent at doing that.
Right, yeah, Wicked gets even more happy. He doesn't have to go into 2v1, doesn't have to take heal, he can be aggressive. Looks like Wraith's being picked up by Tanso. I'm going to say Tanso. I'll just say Nian. It'll work. Looks like High grabbing up his red. Wicked still pressuring very hard up top. Snoopy really doesn't have anywhere to go. It's going to be a tower dive if anything is to happen. So he's just going around his jungle, building up, and that's going to help him anyways. He's got to get to level 6. He's still level 5, so his presence really wouldn't be heard that much anyway.
And Froggen is able to chip Nian Tanso very slowly down middle. You see High pick up the red buff, finally hit 6. So he may be able to influence the plays bottom. High originally not 6, which is the only reason why bottom lane was able to die. They're really looking to snowball the bottom lane, and that 2v2 fight, having Kog'Maw die there was really, really bad for them, because he's going to be the only saving grace of this team come past like mid-game.
The CLG playing a little bit more passive than they have overall. Last time by now we saw 2 turrets down top. Kog'Maw was actually quite fed as well, but he has been forced, Wild Turtle this time, to go for that Doran's build. There's the Tiamat, as you said, on GP, trying to bank it in there. The ward's going down bottom. Looks like they have a little bit of control. They have the Oracle. They want to get this gank in and probably push for that dragon objective.
Wow. Yeah, they're rushing for bot.
Oh, wow. Elimination taking a lot of damage. A beautiful ultimate down onto Wild Turtle, but he's still got damage to do. The Nunu ultimate goes off with the ultimate of Gangplank on it, and it seems like it's starting to work. This composition created by Reddit Nation did very well there, trading the 1-for-1. So with the full team intact for the fight later in the game, we'll have to see how that does. It looks like they won't be able to go for the dragon off of this, however. Snoopy a little too low, so they're just going to go for the next time around.
Unfortunately, they blew 2 global ults for that. They came out in Red Nation's favor, so they're not too, like, it's not too much of a bad thing for them. However, Wicked's looking to zone top lane. He's so far ahead with that Wit's End. There's really not much Yuzuki can do. He's behind, what, almost 40 CS here? And that's just, it just looks really, really bad for Red Nation.
Yuzuki is getting to that point where he is quite tanky, plus that transfusion is going to give him a lot of health, but Wicked is just beating down on him. That Wit's End really gives him the ability to just crush down the health he's even getting from each transfusion. And we see Gangplank moving through the jungle. Again, Nien trying to just steal up the resources, get as much gold as he can in his favor, and become a beast for his team. What do you think the build is going to be for him after this? Is he just pretty much going to go more tanky with some damage?
I think I'm not quite sure how he looks to transition off his Tiamat. Probably maybe Trinity Force?
That makes sense.
Or
you still get a little
actually,
HP
a
out of
Last
phase,
Whisper
yeah.
would be pretty good. Very effective here. Because not only will mid be looking, or jungle will be looking for straight armor, but also Crepo has an armor steroid, as well as Wicked will be looking to get some armor as well.
Looks like bottom lane they are completely waiting, as top lane is also waiting too. Snoopy is just kind of hanging out before he decided to back, and he was actually he's still down there in that bottom lane. They do not have vision of him, and he's waiting for this to come in. The Unstoppable Force is up, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to use it. You saw as soon as they got Snoopy in their eyes, they split from each other. And High 9 wasting a little bit of time top with that red buff, won't able to utilize it on Wicked. And Lux just clearing mid lane here as Nien moves out to the Wraith. So everybody pretty much just bolstering themselves up 3-1 at 13 minutes. The gold lead is in favor of CLG. The Dragon has not been touched or even really moved for yet. We just saw Lux and Lux and Snoopy moving down towards bottom lane, but they weren't really able to formulate too much. They both lost one. Now it's Wicked just zoning Yuzuki out of lane the whole time. There it is, just continuously staying in his face. Transfusion comes up again, but you can see that damage is gone. Really can't help himself. High 9 getting actually locked in there. There's the ultimate. Nudu just kind of threw it off. Really keeping Crepo in that one, and he pops it off with the Unstoppable Force. Crepo just gets to the edge of that Absolute Zero and gets taken out by Yellow Pete. Or actually rather
Still only a 1-for-1. Not too bad for Red Nation.
They're doing really good in these trades.
Absolutely. And High didn't even ult there. His ult is coming up within 9-10 seconds.
Pinging around. It really can't formulate a dragon off of any of this. It's all about the lane, just trying to win it right now for these guys. Wicked continuously pushing back Yuzuki, watching the health of his minions.
Yuzuki forced to go the double door and shield, which is very strong against melee bruisers such as this. But unfortunately, it just looks...
Wow, baiting out the summoner heal. So good.
He's forced to use summoner heal because had he gotten ignited and then used summoner heal, he would have died 100%.
So that's great. Wicked now with both summoners and the ignite still up, which helps tenfold against the Vladimir as well. So he is strong up top, definitely winning his lane mentally as well as just in the game as well. So we'll have to see. 122 to 72 in CS. There's just so many things in his favor. What item does he pick up next? He actually decides to stay in lane, as we saw Yuzuki pushing it out quite fast. So he's more than happy to stick with that experience and grab it up. Again, pushing for it, but he didn't see High 9 coming in for the lane gang. Gets slowed by the pool. Yuzuki pushing back, taking too much damage from the ignite, and knowing Wicked had charges up on his ultimate.
Yeah, Yuzuki decided to go in with the pull and then decided it wasn't worth his time. Because even had he died, or even if he gotten the kill there, he would have at best traded 1-for-1, I think.
So at that point, when you're coming up to somebody and there's the scare that you might be 2v1 and there may be a double kill coming out here, do you look for the mid to come up and start helping? How do you start to resolve that situation?
It really has to be jungle pressure, jungle or mid. And
right.
It's very, very hard. Sometimes a lot of teams, what they do is you just look to 1v2. And in fact, I really think that's what they should have done.
Wicked just being such a bully, happily taking 5 turret shots there. Looks like they are able to get out Froggen, taking the blue buff now as he heads back towards middle. And we got the ping going down. That ward coverage onto Snoopy. They will know that he's coming out of his blue buff. And Wicked's going to back up top. They know there's really no gank to be had there. Good clear out by Snoopy on the wards. He still has that Oracle, which is really helping control this map. It needs to be something that is grabbed up on Reddit Nation quite soon, as they're just losing jungle here. A lot of countering going on. Nobody's really even in lane, and they don't have visions, and counter logic feels just comfortable enough to walk around.
Right, and you see Wicked still 50 CS above his lane opponent, and that's really the only big CS difference. This time, Nian's actually winning middle in CS, and bottom lane, Wild Turtle is behind by about 20 CS, which is not that big of a deal for Kog'Maw. Like you pick Kog'Maw, he's not really like doesn't put much lane pressure until around past level 6.
Right.
And he's one of the best scaling late game ADs, so you really don't need him to be that far behind. this or that far ahead, or no, even if he's that far behind, he's still able to put
Right.
an impact onto the
Right. Awesome thing about
fights.
Kog'Maw is he's not a cheap champion, but he's cheap to build for. You can go with attack speed and still get a lot out of him.
Right, and that's exactly what Wild Turtle did. He decided to pick up an early Zeal after the pickaxe.
Oh man, coming up on top. Will he have time to pull on this one? Could save himself a little bit of health. The Ignite is not on, and Yuzuki looks to live. The Ignite is down from Wicked, so they could not apply that. Very nice gank there. I think the Unstoppable Force may be on a little too soon, but Wild Turtle looks to go down. Oh no, he gets out. Yellow Pete could not get across the absolute zero. Like you said before, Scar, that will just completely stop you for the entire fight, and he gets the sliver of health, but makes it out. So great pressure there in just both of these fights back and forth. High Knight up top, getting some damage down onto him. It looks like they may be going for Dragon here. Yes, we do see Snoopy moving down from the top. Great damage down into the bottom lane, and they finally formulate themselves the first objective.
Real smart play. They knew High's ulti was used top. They knew bottom lane just got chunked, so they had no worries about bottom lane being able to collapse. And Neon's ulti was used top as well. So there's absolutely nothing that Red Nation could have done to stop that dragon.
So not too bad. Revisiting that last attack, Snoopy and Wicked just stacking their crowd control onto Yuzuki. It gets him out alive. So the pressure there allows Yuzuki to kind of get back in the game. We've been saying he's been having somewhat of a hard lane. I'd say 70 CS behind is somewhat a punch in the face. So Wicked's doing what he can to really keep that in his favor. 20 minutes now as we come into this one. High forced to just go through his jungle. We really haven't seen him too present within the ganks in each lane, and when he is, they haven't been able to capitalize, and that's not his fault. It's just such an elusive team and a very just logically strong team right now. Counter Logic knows they have the upper hand, and they can play in these dangerous situations.
Right. Neon Tonto opts to build for a BF sword, so maybe looking for that IE or that Bloodthirster. I'm curious what he's going to look to build.
It looks like a super all-in build for what it's worth. Looking to just get out as much damage as he can, save himself with a quick scurvy, and go down in the fight while using his ultimate. Yellow Pete getting zoned out a little bit here, but still staying on the outside to get some damage in, applying blights where as needed. And there's the Zenith Blade going on to Lemon Nation. He quickly gets that blast down onto Yellow Pete to stop the attack damage, and it's going to be so big. A lot of damage coming from the GP ulti as well. It forces them to move, and very well orchestrated. They could come up with 2 kills here as we go to the top lane as well. Yuzuki very hurt, and it looks like he's down to about 500. Krepo keeping himself alive under the turret. He hasn't gone down yet. The final artillery will take him down, and they do as well find the kill on Yuzuki top. So pressure all over the place, and really the pressure is just being engaged since the other one is happening.
And actually, the gameplay ulti doing a lot more than I thought. It zones areas for zones areas for Reddit Nation, so that the other team, CLG.eu, can't run back in a straight line. They're forced to take weird routes, forced to go up or down, depending on where the gameplay ulti sits. It's doing a decent amount, and in the meantime, Neon Tonto able to just stay mid and farm, and that's really excellent for him. Look, he picks up an IE before 20 minutes as a second item. That's actually very impressive. Not only does he have a time, he also has an IE. Ooh, things are looking really good for him, actually. If he picks up like a Last Whisper here, he can do so much damage onto their front line, even on a Malphite, which has a Glacial right now.
You know, something I considered before, but I just thought it so menial because of how tanky and how late game that the team gets for CLG, is that their whole team relies on diving on a person, which means Gangplank can throw that ulti on 3 members pretty much. You're going to have Leona trying to get in there, Wicked, and Snoopy, so they're all instantly taking damage in a fight they need to get out of and they can't quick. So I think that's a pretty great counter to their initiation composition.
The issue is Froggen, though. Froggen has an ulti that's super long range, and Lux's normal spells, like her Q, her E, have ranges above 1,000.
Yep.
So it's extremely potent, and you're not really able to like zone that out. Like, you don't have to die with those kind of things. You can be in the backline and still hit their backline. It's very, very strong. And definitely, I'm interested to see what the first team fight turns out to be.
It's going to be big. If there's any sort of separation, I feel like Reddit Nation is just going to lose the fight immediately. They need Wild Turtle to be in there the whole time. They really don't have too much damage to go to anybody else other than Gangplank, who's going to be focused in the middle of the fight. He has no tank to him. He doesn't have armor, obviously, in the middle build. He went for the magic resistance rune, so he's going to get hit up pretty hard if he can't get any sustain there. And he only has boots 1s as well, so he's relying on, or boots 1 rather, relying on Ray's morale. Here we go, attack onto Lemon Nation. There's the GP ulti forcing the flash, so that's going to help him in any fight. But wow, they are just going to be able to crush down on Yellow Pete here. He throws out the ultimate, but it only grabs High, and they all get a piece of this one.
Oh, that was a very, very bad place back. Although he couldn't have known. They could not have known that it was, or I guess they could have known that it was warded. But I don't think they expected Nunu to be down there. However, I don't think Yellow P could have gotten out of there at any point. Just because Shenko just ultied Lemonation and gone in. And so that was just a bad position error by Yellow P.
Crep Omega down as well. I really liked how Lemonation played that. Nunu goes down there. It looks like he's just kind of trying to hold the lane once it gets pushed. He didn't show any aggression in telegraphing that gank was coming, and then he just threw on his ultimate, and Yellow Pete was like, "Oh shit, I need to flash right now."
Oh god, Wicked taking the big golem and getting red buff. That might be a dead Yuzuki.
Yeah, it's gonna be big. Here comes Shen though. He knows he doesn't want to get taunted under the turret. He did have Snoopy right on the other side of that. A nice prismatic barrier, shielding out a bit of damage. It looks like they are going to get back into this. They're leaving that top turret, however, kind of just prepping it for a fight late game if they really need to get some more gold.
Wicked goes.
Frogging
with this.
Hello.
Excellent Lux ulti there. You see Wicked pick up his Ionic Spark, an item he loves right now.
Oh, Frog and Pew Pews. Too good. I liked it. Let's see more of that. 32,000 to 28,000. One turret to one, which looks like it will be changed. As I say it, Lemon Nation not in a good spot, but here comes Yuzuki. Hemoplate could do a good bit of damage if he can get it down with that ultimate. They choose not to. There really wouldn't have been enough damage had of it, but if that was a full fight, that would look bad for Snoopy and Wicked.
Right. Nian really needs to put pressure middle. When Min roams, what you have to do is you either roam with him, you make a play in the opposite lane that Mid roams to, or you shove middle. And then as gameplay, you should be able to do a lot of damage to the tower. And so gameplay picks up an executioners, a way to get really cheap lifesteal as well as picking up a very easy crit. It's an item that doesn't see much play, but it's very cost efficient.
This is true. You're going to be able to get a lot of help off of that. Just kidding. The super agreement comment. Scar's like, don't make super agreement comments. I had to make one.
It is really surprising to me though that Nian's been able to keep up like really good farm, and even Lux has been able to keep a farm while roaming. Like that's probably even more of a big tell of how strong of a player Froggen is.
So much damage. Yeah, I was thinking about it before. When you're winning versus GP, obviously he's using his parlays not for damage, but mostly for just getting the CS, getting the gold for himself. But to stay 234 to 256 when GP can also just walk up to you and have crit hits all day and just keep you soaked or keep you in with Grog Soaked Blade, he did so well. And Lux does not have the greatest auto attack damage in the beginning. So
Froggen choosing a very interesting I route instead of going the standard Grail rush. Because she has like kind of mana issues and she scales really well with CDR, he decides to just go Death Cat Void Staff. So he's huge damage build, and it's very hard for the team to build against it, even if they build MR.
So it looks like almost going for the blue. He did get it, actually steals that away. Froggen making himself quite happy.
And so Froggen gets another enemy blue, even though his own team obviously set him up for it. He still picks up another blue from the enemy team, forcing Nian Tonsil to be able to play mid without blue. And if you're mid without blue against a person with blue, it becomes a very annoying thing to deal with.
Nunu just over the top, so they do have an Oracle on both sides. They are going to be able to get map vision in control. But the game control right now, completely to counter logic. They can dictate where these fights are happening. They have a 5,000 gold lead. Froggen making that a little bit more as he just lasers down mid and grabs up the last two, keeping pressure on this mid lane with Leona just on the outside for that initiation. You see him clearing out a ward right quick.
Oh, and Malphite picks up the Frozen Heart, able to keep Kog'Maw and Gameplank in check here, because neither of them have Blast Whispers, and it's going to be very hard for Reddit Nation to win a team fight right now.
They have a much better composition to lock down Kog'Maw. The Orianna was just too much for them last game from Nian, and they can just dive right past that line and start shutting him down. The Frozen Heart with Ground Slam pretty much leaves him to do nothing for his team.
On top of that, we have Yellow Pea Varus ulti, and it makes it so that like you can't dive their backline. It's extremely hard for Vlad to be able to get in and do anything against Lux and Varus. So kind of a weird team comp, able to do multiple roles at once, and Lux just putting so much pressure on Middle with blue buff and her items. She's just so far ahead.
See, they really wanted an initiation here. Wicked is just holding near high bottom, trying to keep that push on as well.
Wicked could go in right there. Oh, Wicked could go in right here. I'm really surprised Wicked decided not to go in because
That fight happening middle, and he would just keep high locked
I'm
up.
pretty sure he could have hit Neon or Elimination, Leon and Elimination, or picked up the Kog'Maw. And the tower was so low, I don't think they could have turned off it.
Right. Looks like Ray's morale goes on. They're getting ready for the next push here. Oh, looks like Elimination goes out. They wanted the fight without any creep wave there, but nobody was really ready and on the same page. They take a good amount of damage. This is not good for them. They have not really initiated the fight yet, and half of them are just taking so much damage, missing those 2 attacks. They dodge a little bit there, but see what that Lux cooldown is actually on right now. He's only waiting about 30 seconds for it.
It's 24 seconds at max CDR.
Right.
It's pretty insane.
Yeah, just kind of going in, as he said, Wicked, able to win that matchup. He tried to do it for himself. They are getting a little control here bottom. You see, just back and forth. Wild Turtle didn't even know which way he wants to go. He just went back and forth 4 times. These guys are really, I think everybody's trying to figure out what to do, and there's no one source of communication. It could be hurting them.
Fraga hasn't shopped in a long time. I'm assuming he has quite a bit of gold on him. He has almost 2,000, so I really want to know what he chooses to buy off this. Will he look to build more damage? Look to build maybe a Lich Bane? Maybe Zanya's to stop any kind of damage he can take? Or just maybe look to go for a Grail? I'm very curious to see what he builds. Oh, he could get a kill with it. His ulti.
Oh my gosh, again! Just completely cleaning up all over the map. Ladies and gentlemen, the Froggen Clinic with Lux.
You know, you can't look to do such plays like that against a Lux with that much farm.
So it looks like coming out here, they have the 2 Infinity Edges for pretty much the utmost damage that they could output in this fight, but they haven't been getting the chance. Froggen is just picking people off one by one surgically from the map. 274 CS with Wicked right behind him at 274 as well, just about 300 CS for Niantanso. So he's been doing a very good job. He's actually about 3,000 gold ahead of his entire team. He is 10,000 gold, 400, and the closest there is going to be Wild Turtle at 8,000 gold. So he's really got a huge push on his team that really needs to be all around for his team, because there are some tanky players coming from CLG with both 10,000 gold in favor of Wicked and in favor of Froggen. So you're seeing that in 2 places when it's really just in one major position for Reddit Nation. They all need to start winning their lanes for what they have left.
Okay, so you see Lux go Zanya's build. It's it's going to be really hard for anyone to kill her. Now she's halfway there. That I really want. Oh wow, Wicked gets initiated on.
Hurt right now. Wicked's not going to be able to make it out of this one. And the pool goes down, keeps him crowd controlled in that spot, and the team cannot get there to help.
So Wicked just out of position there.
Yeah.
He did force Shed ulti as well as gameplay ulti. It still, I don't think, was worth it. Oh, it was okay. It was okay. Ooh, wow.
So much damage going on to Nunu. This would be a really good engagement for them. Actually, no, it wouldn't. The double Infinity Edge coming at him right now looks really painful. They're going to back off. Just kind of hold here, make sure there's no wards around them, and this is their point. They need to push this very hard. Wicked is down, and that means Shen can also go and push a lane as well after they get this turret. They're going to stick here. Coming from the backside, they try to initiate. They get the slowdown. They're taking too much damage for really wanting to initiate on this fight. They have not been able to do anything, but they decide to finally go in, and that was just to break up the fight.
Wow, Yellow Pete decided a very awkward item route, going for the GA before he finishes even off his PD. He goes just Thirster, Zeal, GA. I can kind of understand that because he's going to be a big, heavy focus. I don't think Reddit Nation can win any fights until they get Last Whisper on their 2 physical damage dealers on both Niantanso and Cog. Like, at least Niantanso needs one. Cog can maybe do without, but it would be ideal for Cog as well. And you see Cog stop his Zeal to pick up a pickaxe. So he's probably going to definitely looking to build it as well.
Well, let's see what these guys do. Right now, like I said, their money not in the best position, but they're not really hurting for money either. Another 2,100 gold actually on Nien as they go to grab Dragon. Everybody else, every time you look at that score sheet, is under 1,000 gold. So they're really just piecing every time they go back and get pushed out of lane their core items together, and they're really not getting the burst that they need at the time that they need. Wicked able to push out that top lane. We'll just say that's completely over for those guys. It was 290 right now to 170 CS. So over 100 CS advantage against Suzuki. 4-1 for your Wild Turtle. He did play very good for his team, was definitely the MVP of last game. Just able to shred everybody down, picking up 2 double kills very quickly. This time is having a little bit of trouble. They're down 7,000 gold, and they're really only picking up and closing that gap throughout their jungle. What are we looking for Reddit Nation to do here? They can't really engage in anything. They just have to get the perfect engagement for themselves.
Right, they have to hope the other team overdives, pretty much. They
Yeah.
have a lot of abilities to where, like, once the dive commits, with Nunu, Gameplay, and Vlad, getting out of a bad position off a bad dive isn't really possible for CLG.eu.
Right.
But however, CLG.eu is so far ahead, they can just look to bait Baron over and over again, and that's what they might be looking to do now. You see Niantasa pick up a Last Whisper. So, like I said, they can't look to win fights until at least he has that.
Yeah.
And now that he's picked it up, he might be able to do a lot of damage onto players.
This is the one thing I like about Varus is you don't have to super, try and replicate a build that the other team is doing. Usually you see somebody going in Infinity Edge and you're like, crap, I should probably get that pretty quick. My damage output isn't going to be as good depending on what champion you are. But he really just went for that Bloodthirster, quickly into his Zeal, and is kind of holding off there. He went for the Guardian Angel because that % damage from his spells when he crushes that Blight is just so awesome. And if you utilize it correctly, he's such a formidable opponent.
Right, no, he is. Wild Turtle also picks up his Last Whisper. So
Yeah, he finally
if they're
got it.
looking to fight, this is an ideal time right now. If they can force a fight on their own terms and not CLG's.
Just keep that Blood Boil on to Kog'Maw and pretty much be able to negate that Frozen Heart as much as possible.
If they can, I'd like them to wait till Elimination picks up an Aegis. Like I said before, Aegis really, really cost effective in teamfight. Brings these defensive stats that aren't possible without it.
Right. It's about 1,000 gold off of that. That could hurt. Leona going towards mid as they just... Oh my gosh! He takes him from a completely almost full health. That's about 80% there after that hit.
That's incredible damage by Lux.
Amazing attack as they come into this. Just so good coming in. Like you said, the range on Lux just so unforgiving for people. He kind of uses that the E from Lux like the Gragas Q. He can reposition people with it. He can really cause them to go where he wants. A big fight onto
Wow.
Wicked. Nintenso coming up with a lot of damage there. The critical, and it wasn't even needed the shield. He probably could have made it out of that one with a sliver, but the help from High will help. They are going to throw that down onto Baron. I don't think they have too much vision for the HP.
Can
It looks
Nunu
like Baron
throw
down
his
to
flash?
1,000 now,
Don't
and that
worry.
would be the time to go in, and they decide not to. So we can see Intenso making himself very big for this matchup, was almost able to just drop Wicked by himself. If not, it would have been close to a draw.
Yeah, Wicked had no armor there, and Niantasa crit 4 or 5 hits and destroyed Wicked. It was pretty ridiculous.
Nian mechanically a very good player. I mean, that obviously coming from AD, but you see him dying very little, very, very little. 205. I don't think he had too many deaths in last game either. But then again, the mids haven't seen too much action throughout the game other than themselves roaming.
Yeah,
so
this
they're
mid-
4-0 and 2-0 anyway.
This game was kind of boring for both mids.
Yeah, exactly.
There was people, they tried to put pressure, but then eventually it got to the point where like it was safer and less of a risk to just farm it out. You see Vlad very far behind here, only has 3 items and 2 Doran's shields.
I think, with a build like that, with the way Wicked played, and as I said, he was playing very smart mentally, winning the game hugely mentally, is that you crush the build of Yazuki, especially if you crush his minion score, because that's a lot of money to spend on something that's not going to help your build in any way after 20 minutes.
No, yeah, I definitely think that's correct. We have the Aegis pickup by Nunu
Yeah,
now,
there it is, finally.
but I don't know if they can fight now. It's just, after the Baron buff, they don't have the type of... They don't have the type of initiation to counteract the initiation from CLG.eu, because CLG.eu can now dive on top of towers and they don't have to worry about anything, because Baron gives them such a strong advantage.
It's almost like the composition made from Reddit Nation here is only going to be formidable if they were that one step ahead. That Gangplank ulti, Nunu ulti would be amazing if you were going to get crushed down before both of them ended.
Right.
So I think their composition was reliant on really winning the lanes. A little bit of
Shen,
pressure.
very weird Shen build. He decides to build GA in like half of his games, and GA is a very strong item. I do
Right.
agree, but like on Shen, I feel like it's kind of a waste.
With this team, he definitely needed way more tank first. He's not providing enough.
I guess since he's the only initiator for his team, he has to be the one going in first. And he,
Right. Oh, yeah. It's
more
really,
like-
the Guardian Angel is going to assist.
More
that
than
as well. You're
likely,
right.
he's gonna die off the initiation. So I guess the Guardian
That's what I was
let's
planning
give him better
for.
team fight presence, but still, weird build.
Looks like they're just heading top lane. They're really just going textbook right now, wiping out these lanes, getting the turrets down so they have pressure, almost taking down Nunu, leaving him with 500 HP, and that ultimate is just absolutely slicing through the entire team. Usually you see Lux out fizzle out on somebody, you're like, oh yeah, that's the tank, but everybody is just taking significant damage, and Counter Logic just really can do whatever they want to end this game out. They don't have to pull out anything fancy. They don't have to go to any other lanes and start pushing pressure. They're just going to go straight for these turrets, headstrong, and really knock on the front door. An awesome Lux laser there, just going straight to the fountain, which is just for show.
They can. Oh, I was gonna say they might be able to initiate there.
Yeah, as they walked right past the turret, it would have been perfectly choked.
What you do against Lux is you wait for her cooldowns to go down because she has very long cooldowns, like 12 to 12-second cooldowns.
Yeah.
And you go in after her cooldowns are down to be able to take advantage of that.
There's a few of them right there. As you said, high going in. The Guardian Angel to do its job, and they dive right past. Wild Turtle sees Crepo in his face instantly, and that is going to be good damage. Hemoplague absolutely advancing those shots from Wild Turtle. There's the attack. He stays alive, though. Nobody's able to jump over the edge. Unstoppable Force is still up. That is a huge factor in this fight that I don't think Reddit Nation is taking into consideration. They will back off, though, so they won't have to. 58,000 to 48,000. Scar, not much you can do when a fight happens and you're pretty much just forced to concede your inhibitor.
Right, no, they had to make a play before, and High wasn't able to get the flash taunt to Froggen. So unfortunate for him there. His initiation wasn't ideal. And they came out okay.
Right.
They definitely came out okay during that, but they had to give up an inhib in a tower, which is the hardest thing to do. Like, as soon as you break the inhib tower and get the first inhib down, the job of sieging becomes so much easier. Now you see a GA on Gangplank now. So you see 2 GAs on one team.
That's a lot of damage for them to be had in the fight. With Gangplank being up that long, being able to parlay and just crush people down, especially with his removed Scurvy. He can really dive past the front line with his team. And then Infinity Edge, you just saw him take down Wolves with pretty much one shot. Lux with that blue buff. This Froggen, again, just being a formidable spot for his team. And what does he build next? I can't even tell. Is he going for D?
Maybe going for DFG.
Yeah.
DFG's
A little bit more burst.
Yeah, DFG is very strong in this patch. Like, it works on pretty much anyone.
So we got the red buff being picked up by LP. These guys prepping themselves for the next fight. I don't think there's much that Reddit Nation can do other than just win a team fight that goes out awry for CLG.eu. There's really going to be no objectives for them to dance. They have to stay in their base with the amount of pressure that's being had right now. And Aurelia is done doing the split pushing. It's pretty much been in the face of High all game. Wicked was off, and CounterLogic Europe was winning the team fights 4v5. So now that High knows he needs to be with his team, it's not going to be good for them to really get back into this matchup.
Oh, Lux just keeps fishing for that. Oh, wow, Yellow P able to flash the taunt.
There's some damage. They have Wicked on one side, but why are they chasing him? They're being blindsided right now. Crepo coming in, Zenith Blade all the way to Nintenso, and it looks like they're locking up a good amount of the damage. Varus just left on the outside. Wow, Reddit Nation just easily walking out of their base after somebody rang the doorbell and walked off the doorstep to figure out who was there. It was an entire team of CounterLogic, and they really cleaned up well in that fight. Pushing on to this next inhibitor turret. Looks like they will be able to take it down 9-9 as that second inhibitor turret goes down at 40 minutes. High should not have done that. It looks like he may go down. The Guardian Angel has been procced. Makes him a little bit in a more of a dangerous position for the next fight.
He just wanted to save the stop the inhib damage,
right.
But his team wasn't close enough to be able to follow up on that, so he just gave up a free GA.
So Wicked going down, or Snoopy rather going down in that exchange with Lemon Nation. High's Guardian Angel being broken. So although Reddit Nation seems to be able to hold these off, at least, to the turret and then a little bit and then the inhibitor, they're not getting wiped out on these. They're still losing them. So there's that portion of ground where they can come back on these fights. There was a lot of control on Tanian in that fight. So if he can get to roam as Varus did, as Yellow Pete did in that last fight, just completely doing damage, able to free shot everyone, they can really have a changed up match here. I still think this is anybody's game.
I think it's It's definitely sided for CLG.eu.
It's still sided for them.
Baron just came
Yeah.
up, and right now I don't know if Red Nation can contest. And if they give up a free Baron here, they're in dire straits, to say the least.
We have Nunu coming around, gets the ward in. They're going to start clearing anything they can for this Baron path. Obviously giving themselves a free road in. And it really is going to have to be Nintenso. Just Nintenso. Nobody on him. Nobody on Kog'Maw, and they will be able to just take this fight out. Not too much armor. Actually, there's a lot of armor. Right? Guardian Angels, Randuin's all over. Frozen Heart, another Guardian Angel, and the Aegis. So I just completely lied to myself and everyone. There's tons of armor on CLG.eu. So these Infinity Edges really relying on the Last Whisper for damage. Looks like they're really just waiting to bait this out. They know they're in a bad position here.
Yeah,
Scarra.
definitely. They have to look to wait for it, but there's no ward coverage onto the Baron buff. Oh, they're just gonna have to give it up. Okay.
Once again, and this doesn't look good. They can already get beat under their own turrets. Do you think they should have tried for that? Because it's pretty much in this next fight, it could be game or nothing anyway.
I think they should have tried. They definitely should have tried for that. Because now they have no safety. They're gonna get bottom tower for bottom hit for sure.
Oh yeah.
If they wanted to play it safe, they literally could just run bottom right here. But instead, they're just gonna take the riskier option, just go mid.
Easy attack for them. Still harassing from the outside. There's the ultimate coming from Gangplank, so that will not be useful in the fight.
All they have to do is run back. Wait for the Gangplank ulti to run out,
Yep.
and then just go back in. And that's what CLG is best at. They're able to play the slow roll better than any other team.
Right. Yeah.
To some frustration, actually, because anytime you play them, you're like, oh my god, I wish they could end the game faster.
Well, let's see what we'll have to do. It looks like Nien does not want that to happen as he uses the ultimate just to push off instead of engage. And Wicked wants that turret. They're all just, why are you taking turret shots all day? They're trying to bait that. Oh, he gets the summoner heal back on. Wild Turtle forced to come back up. Creppa going in with the flash. Unstoppable force, and the Shen ulti won't do anything as he gets crushed down, and it does not look good as Reddit Nation actually looking to push out Wicked here. They do drop down Kog'Maw. They do drop down Lemon Nation, and they will be going in for the fight. They just had to reposition themselves. They dropped the inhibitor in a beautiful second game from Reddit Nation. Thwarts momentum thwarted by Counterlogic Europe as they take the first matchup of Lone Star 2.
Definitely an excellent game by Froggen. Froggen's buying